Hello and welcome to Captain Charisma's Kerbal Space Program Guide for Idiots by an Idiot, and hopefully works. Alright. Command Pod Mark 1 is the pod you want to be using. You can use these probe things if you don't want to kill your Kerbals, but building is a little bit different, but for all intents and purposes, to get into orbit, this is how it's done. Alright. Now, a rocket needs fuel. If it doesn't have fuel, it's not a rocket. It's a piece of crap. So yes, put as much fuel as you want there. Probably about that's enough. Kind of hoping. Because I've already done this before and I realized I didn't take enough fuel and I look like a fucking retard. I'm gonna take... No, that's not gonna be working. Alright. It doesn't matter which one. LVT-45 is more efficient. LVT-30 is more powerful but less efficient. I'm going to take the more efficient one up. Hopefully that'll be fine. Should be. Alright. Now, that... Yes. The engine is what powers a rocket. If you don't know rocket science... If you don't know rocket science... If you don't know how a rocket works, like, just generally, like... Explodey thing down bottom and... Pointy thing up top, probably should go to preschool. But yes, controlling wise, clicking on the pod will move the whole thing around. Clicking on anything below will move anything that is attached to it, like from the bottom as well. Like if I click down here, that will move that bit. And I click there, that will move that bit. And I click the engine and the same thing will happen. Right, so we want to move that across. And we want to put advanced SAS module on. I'm not entirely sure what the difference between regular SAS and advanced SAS is, but I know one of them doesn't work properly the way I want it to. So I just like, you know what, everything gets advanced SS. I'm trying to kill a fly right now. Ignore that. Alright. You want also to have RCS, so we can just cover that here instead of doing a later thing. RCS is important because that lets you control your ship in 0 atmosphere. You can do that alone with this thing's torque, but for larger ships, you'll definitely need RCS. Like, this thing has its own torque, which lets it move around in 0 gravity and no atmosphere, and I just realized the door's wide open. Sorry, I had to kill several insects. What am I doing? Ah, yes, control. Alright. You want your RCS ports. I think they're called RCS ports. Okay, they're called RCS thruster box. You put these down here. Now, you're probably wondering, what the hell did I just do? Alright, this thing is your symmetry mode. This will... You start off with 1. This will put 1 down. Like, put 1 here. Go to 2, and this will put 2 of them down on each side. And they'll be angularly correct. And this goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 and 8. Angle snap will make it so you can put these on an angle. So there. Now they're perfectly angled. They're not in a really weird angle. You want things to be angled on ships, but if you need to do like a really fine adjustment for something specific, one, if you're doing that, you probably don't need to watch this tutorial. And 2, I forgot my second point. Yep. It's SCS. Yeah, wait, about here, I guess. Alright, so that's there. Structurally, no. Alright, we want a decoupler, or a stack coupler. Doesn't matter which one. If they fit, it will work fine. They do different things. You don't really need to know them right about now. Now, but decoupler will, when we re-enter atmosphere, a decoupler will basically separate this pod from everything else, which we don't need, because we fall into the planet, and you don't need a rocket to do that. Gravity will work fine. Right, in aerodynamics, it's a good idea to have just winglets so you can control yourself in atmosphere, because RCS doesn't work that well. Now this will control you in atmosphere so you don't go flying off in some random direction and crashing horribly. Alright, what else do you need? If you want to re-enter the atmosphere, you need to take a parachute, unless you want your Kerbal to die horribly. A ball of flames. Alright, all this other stuff is, well, I'll do that when it's necessary. Alright, yeah, the antennas are used for deep space stuff. You don't need to know about them now. Now, this stuff is interesting. I'll just put a thermometer here so you just get the general idea how this works. Go down to 1 so you only take 1 up. I'll probably completely forget about that. I think that's about it. Oh yeah, I probably should show you how to radial decouplers. Alright, radial decouplers. These are mounted on the side of your spaceship, like here. And you can put anything you want on them. Like, I'm just for shits and giggles, I'm going to put another fuel tank on the side here. Yeah, that's fine. And I'll just make sure that it's doesn't have, yeah, you get the point. Alright, so yeah, we put an extra thingamabob on the side. Yeah, see, that's created a decent looking rocket. Now, I'm not sure if these things actually do anything at this point in the game, if they're actually implemented, but I like to put them there anyway. Now that should fly. We've just made a 2-stage rocket. I made a 2-stage rocket now because you're probably wondering, it's probably good to cover these things now instead of later. Alright, what you want to get in the habit of doing, unless you like explosions, is get this EAS Force Struck connector, and this is essentially the Kerbal Space Program duct tape. Now you connect this here, and make sure you have full symmetry mode on if you're using 4 rockets, and you can pretty much duct tape everything together so it will hold together. Otherwise, it will just jiggle around, and if you're having that problem, that's why. That doesn't need to be there probably. Yeah, so just put them there, and they should stop jiggling around horribly. It's probably a good idea in this case to put one, like, right here. And I'm going to mention mouse controls in a second. Yeah, that's good. Alright, mouse controls, click in the scroll wheel and you can zoom in and out. Hold right click and you can move around. Left click is obviously selection and stuff. And I've just screwed up my thing. God damn it. Alright, what's up? You got all your stuff up here. This is action groups, don't need to know about them right now. The blue one's new ship. That's loaded old ship. That's saved the ship. I'm gonna call this one Thingamabob. Yeah, that'll be fine. Save that. That's the launch. That's the abort. These are your stages. Probably should go with these right about now. Oh yeah, just one thing before that. Center of mass. Click that. That'll show you where your center of mass is. If you don't know what that is, do a quick physics thing. Center of lift. That's where your thrust. Like not your thrust, but it's more used in planes, and I don't think it does anything right like in this ship. And thrust is where the rocket just. It's where your force is propelling you. Whatever. These are your stages. 0 is your last stage, and 3 is your first stage. That seems counterintuitive, but for all intents and purposes, later on you'll understand it. Alright, these 4 rockets for some reason aren't grouped together. I don't know why, but they should be. Okay, that doesn't work anymore. Alright, so when we first start, these 4 rockets should fire. We will press spacebar, and the second stage will fire, and these 4 rockets will decouple and fly off to who knows where, and probably kill some poor villager. Then we want to drag this one down here. Now when these decouple, this rocket will fire in the same stage, without having to press space twice. Now what you can also do is add a new stage, just press the plus or the -1 to take one away. Use the drag things away. Now the final stage will deploy our parachute and separate us from everything else. This seems complicated, but I could do multiple things, but I want to do this in all one video. Save that, launch. Now let's get to rocket controls.